Testing 1, 2.
All right. So, welcome everybody to St. Mark's. I know that many of you have already been here for your interviews, and some of you will still be scheduling them, but we are so thrilled to have you here tonight. Just another opportunity for us to be able to showcase St. Mark's for you. Before I go a little bit further, I do want to remind you all, if you haven't yet, and if you're interested, you have all been sent an invitation to our academic deep dives tomorrow night and Wednesday night. So we would love to have you join us. It's an opportunity to hear from faculty members from 8 different departments and students in those departments as well, just to talk about their experiences at St. Mark's and what they're learning. But tonight's very exciting because we have an opportunity to showcase our athletic program. Go ahead and introduce Mr. Lewandowski and Ms. Ames, who are Director of Athletics and Associate Director of Athletics, and they are absolutely delighted to have you here. So thanks again for being here tonight.
Thank you, Ann. Thank you all for coming out. It's a little windy out there, so appreciate you braving the weather to be here. My name is John Lewandowski. I'm the athletic director at St. Mark's. I feel very I feel that St. Mark's does it the right way. We're a very strong school that same attention and importance is placed on the athletic program in the afternoon. History goes way back to like 1865, and actually the school was founded back then, very forward thinking, knowing that athletics played a big role in the students' education. So I think you probably read all the scientific studies right now about being, athletically involved and being healthy and fit actually helps you a great deal in the classroom. So how cool is that? That partnership has always been there, and now they have really scientific evidence to support that. So what I'm particularly proud about being the AD is that we have a program that's really nimble in the sense that we can meet the needs of all of our student athletes. We have 50+ teams, 22 sports, so there's a home for everybody. I'm going to go on the premise that you're here tonight because you really enjoy athletics, and I would imagine you want to continue to grow and be the best that you can be. So I'm going to tailor my remarks to all of you as a, a budding impact athlete. Our varsity program competes in a league called the Independent School League, made up of 16 schools, all within about an hour from here. It's a very, very prestigious league, and I would argue that it's one of the top 2 independent leagues in all of the United States. So if you have that interest to highlight your skills and your talents, we can do that for you. Our schedule is very, very competitive. I don't want you to be intimidated by that. You grow into it and you play and you're going to enjoy it. But we have, we have in place an opportunity for you to be the best you can be. For those of you who, love athletics, but more comfortable maybe playing at a bit of perhaps a lower, less competitive level, we have a host of third teams and JV teams where you can get involved, and who knows what the future lies, whether those particular sports are the ones you want to continue to play. And we've had a number of athletes at St. Mark's who played a sport their freshman year that they never played before, to find out that their senior year they're signing a letter of intent to play collegiate athletics. So how cool is that? So we can do that. We can highlight that for you. Probably most important about our program is our coaching staff. Our coaches are educators here. You're not going to come to practice and watch our coaches or see our coaches yelling and screaming at our student athletes, using profanity in any way. It really is an incredibly respectful relationship between our coaches and our athletes. Our coaches are super knowledgeable, and most of them played collegiately, and some even beyond that. So they know the sport really well, and therefore they just get the respect of their players, and the relationship piece is something that we're really, really proud of. So yeah, I would just strongly recommend that you keep looking at St. Mark's. We're a school that can highlight you. Sometimes if you go to a larger school, you're looking at getting playing time your junior, senior year. Here you can get out of the gate sometimes your freshman year, many times your sophomore year. So we can get you in the mix and being an important part of the team at a younger age. All right? So if any of you have any questions about the program, I really hope you reach out and ask. I'm really proud of what we do here. You're going to hear from a terrific panel of our student athletes shortly about their experiences at St. Mark's. And best of all, you're going to hear from the best associate athletic director in all of the ISL, Lauren Ames. Thank you very much.
Hi all, I'm Lauren Ames, Associate Director of Athletics, and I've been at St. Mark's now for 11 years, and I'm the head girls varsity soccer coach and have coached varsity basketball here, and actually this past spring I got to coach varsity softball. John stole my thunder a little bit about the league because I was going to share a little bit about the ISL. And some of you, I'm sure, are aware of that league. But one thing I will add, just from my coaching perspective, is that every game is a game. And it's just a really awesome league to be part of, and just it could be like the weakest team, it could be the strongest team. Every game is a game, which I think is really exciting for me as a coach, keeps me on my toes, and it's exciting for my players. I wanted to talk about 3 things that I think our program is really notable for. And one is, if you've been to campus and you've taken a tour, you've seen our strength and conditioning space called the Coolidge Center. And I know that the 4 students up here are in there all the time. I know that my soccer players are. That space is tremendous for our students. What's great is that we can have open workouts where our strength and conditioning coach can work with your your student with something that they want to work on, some sort of weakness, or just something that they really want to strengthen, they can go and work out in Coolidge and do that. And then the other piece is bringing my team in there, bringing our teams in there to work out and to lift together. And so I love that space. It's awesome for injury prevention. It shouldn't feel intimidating because it's really a space for you to get stronger, to get fitter, and to get healthier. And so I think that's a huge advantage in our program that we have the Coolidge Center. Secondly, I want to talk about school spirit. Two of the students up here, I don't know if they'll talk about it, but we have a really long rivalry with the Groton School. And every fall, we have a day called Groton Day at the end of the season where we compete against Groton in all of our sports. And it's the day, it's actually the week leading up to it. And so we have a big spirit week and the students get dressed up and the faculty. And it just brings so much spirit to our to our school and through our athletic program. I don't know if anyone's ever been on campus for Groton Day when we've hosted it, but it's an amazing day. And, we lost the raccoon coat this fall, which is what gets passed between the two schools, unfortunately. But if you're here next year, maybe you can help us get that raccoon coat back from Groton. And then the third thing I want to highlight is that our students here play more than one sport. If I look at the girls on my soccer team, all of them play a second sport. Some of them play 3 sports, and they're challenging themselves in different ways in different seasons. I think that there's so much value in playing more than one sport. I played 2 sports in college, and I think I was able to stay pretty much injury-free from really changing up what I did between the fall and the winter. But it doesn't mean you can't continue to be passionate about one sport, right? It just means that you're challenging yourself in a different way in a different season. And so we see that with our athletes at St. Mark's, that they're, playing soccer in the fall, they're playing basketball in the winter, and maybe they're playing a third sport in the spring, or maybe they're using the spring to take somewhat of a break from a sport. But we have students doing 2 and 3 seasons here consistently. So those are a few things I just wanted to highlight about our program. And again, like Mr. Lewandowski said, if you have any questions, feel free to find me after, find any of the students to answer those questions for you. Thanks.
Thanks. Is this on? Is it working? You can stay. You can stay. Yeah. Might throw some questions to you. So this portion of our evening is going to be based around the student experience and trying to throw some questions from some frequently asked questions and any questions from our group of families and student athletes, prospective student athletes, to help give you a great understanding of what is it like to be a St. Marker, what is it like to be a student athlete at St. Mark's. Before we do that, I just want to introduce myself if I haven't had a chance to meet you. My name is Anthony Figueredo, Assistant Director of Admission here and head football coach. This is my 3rd year at St. Mark's. I've had the chance to meet a few of you through the interview process or through orientation or some of the events we've had on campus. I'm going to let our students introduce themselves. And so tell us your name, where you're from, what form you are, and what sports you play. Sound good? We'll start there.
I'm Michael Fisher. I'm a 6th former. I'm a day student from Westborough, Massachusetts, and I play hockey and lacrosse at St. Mark's.
My name is Dwayne. I'm a 6th former. I'm a boarder from New Jersey, and I play football, basketball, and lacrosse.
My name is Jackie. I'm a 6th former. I'm a day student from Shrewsbury, Massachusetts, and I run cross country and row crew.
I'm Avery. I'm a 5th former day student from Holliston, Mass, and I play soccer, basketball, and lacrosse.
Thanks, everyone. And those of you who don't know, we go 3rd form through 6th form. If you haven't heard those phrases before, 3rd form is freshman, 4th form sophomore, 5th form is junior, and 6th form is our senior class. I'm going to toss a couple of frequently asked questions from our admission office to our students. Everyone in the audience, feel free to queue up any questions that you have specific to you or to our students. So the first one is that we get a lot how has St. Mark's shaped you as a student athlete? And you guys can go one at a time, answer it, or if someone wants to take the mic and start, fine with me. How has St. Mark's shaped you as a student athlete in general?
So I came to St. Mark's having rowing experience, and I was very focused on just being a rower and having that be my one sport. So I was a little bit hesitant to this idea of having multiple sports, of having 3 sports, especially your freshman year. But I definitely grew into it. Doing cross country and doing third squash my freshman year was really fun. And I also met a lot of people. While I'm not playing squash anymore, I still have all of those friends from third squash, and it was a good way to meet people, especially in this small community.
I would say St. Mark's have definitely helped me develop as like a football player mainly. I came in St. Mark's as a 13-year-old, as a freshman. I was really nervous, really scared to try new things, really scared to kind of step up in front of all the older guys and show what I can do. But with the support of my coaches and my teammates, they really helped me develop into the person I am.
For me, I think something I developed a lot with in coming to St. Mark's was being more competitive. I played hockey coming into St. Mark's. I also played lacrosse, but not as much. But I wasn't really I didn't really have that desire to win as much. I was just out there goofing around, having fun, and then showing up and competing with my teammates and against them in practice really showed me how to, want to win and how to get better through that process.
Coming in for me, I was really set on just playing soccer varsity, and then I got cut, but it was the best thing possible because I think, especially that year, coming in as a freshman, it can be hard to level up against some of the older, stronger girls, but that year really gave me a chance to grow as a player and also was a good way of stepping into life here. It was a good way of balancing everything.
Thank you all, that's awesome. Next question definitely is a very popular question. Whenever we're interviewing a family or a student athlete, the question about balance comes in. And I'll throw the question to you guys. I think it's really important, and probably half of the room is thinking about this. How do we balance the academic rigor and the programs at St. Mark's, academic programs at St. Mark's, with the athletic commitments that you all have?
Yeah, so St. Mark's is undoubtedly a difficult schedule, balancing athletics and balancing academics, but there's also it possible. For example, this winter I'm doing strength and conditioning, and it meets 4 times a week, but I'm also taking a STEP fellowship class to basically do some sort of research outside of class or independent research, and the athletics office has allowed me to take 2 days from 1 to 6 to be in the lab, so I'm missing one of my practices, but I make it up a different time. So there's lots of flexibility and lots of resources to be able to take every opportunity at St. Mark's.
I would say the main thing that helped me balance my academic and athletic lives is the structure that St. Mark's provides me with. Coming in right away, I noticed that we have classes from 8 to maybe 3:05, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, and Friday. And on Wednesdays and Saturdays are our game days. So just knowing there's a structure and getting used to the structure that they put in place for you helps you adjust to the athletic and academic lives.
It's super helpful that your teachers are also coaches at St. Mark's, so they understand, hey, on Saturday you might have an away game, it might be difficult to get something done, same with a Wednesday night. So you kind of learn to communicate with your teachers and say, hey, I had a really long drive to St. George's, about an hour and a half. I didn't have a lot of time to get my project done. Could I get an extension? And you learn how to, communicate with adults in that manner to just sort of get that balance between athletics and academics while also bettering yourself.
I would also say on the other side of things, coaches are also very open to the idea that academics do come first and that you need to take time to do that sometimes too if you need to make up a test or anything like that.
Thank you all. And I would add 2 things I think that come up a lot as far as being an ISL head coach. We have a restriction on the number of hours that we can practice per week, just everyone throughout the ISL. every head coach is held to the same standard, and it's because it's an academic-based athletic conference. So, we're not out there for 3 hours and asking you to try and scramble to get your work done. It's a 2-hour commitment, and we fit in film, we fit in workouts, we fit in practice, we fit in all of those different team elements too. So that's important to us. And the last part is the structure of study hall. I don't know if you guys want to touch on that at all, or how that influences you. I know having a set structure probably hits or misses with some families, but 2 hours a night in study hall, not being pulled away in different directions in that evening, but actually having that time set aside for work and faculty available to check in with is super important to our students. I definitely want to pause for a second. I have some more questions, but anyone want to take a brave stab at throwing a question out there? I'm comfortable with silence.
Ask for those of you who are boarders compared to day students, what the difference is, like how you feel connected to the team, coming and going at different times, maybe the teammates who are boarders can eat together afterwards, where you may go home if you're a day student.
So I'm a day student. It sounds crazy, but I show up at school at about 8 o'clock in the morning, and then I don't leave until 9 on most nights. So I'll go to school, hang out with my teammates prior to practice, get dressed, get on the ice, get off the ice, eat dinner with my teammates. By the time study hall starts, you're not really missing out on much. All your teammates are doing homework on their own in their rooms. You can go home, you can do your own work. So you're not really missing out on anything being a day student. You just go home to your own bed at night pretty much. So it's up to, you have the choice to leave right after practice, but you always have the option to hang out with your teammates at dinner and do those extracurricular activities. So you just have a little bit more freedom, but you still get the same experience.
Yeah, I would say day students have the same experience hanging out with their teammates and bonding with their teammates. The only thing boarders have, I would say, is just the extra hour between 9:30 and 10:30 where you can be outside of your rooms talking to your friends and your teammates. But for the most part, it's the same experience.
We got some good momentum. First question, who wants to be second? Something on your mind? Okay, great. Yeah, go ahead. I'll repeat it. Do we ever have practices in the morning?
I don't think I've ever had a practice in the morning, but there are optional lifts in the morning, which can be a really good opportunity to just do some extra work. But practices are usually in our set schedule from in the fall, it's 3:30 to 5:30, and then in the winter it changes based off of the rink and ability.
I also have not ever had to experience it, but I know freshman year, varsity girls hockey made it to playoffs, so they had a morning practice. Nice time.
I think
It happens.
The other element probably being preseason. We do have a practice schedule that fits within orientation activities when we all get back on campus in sort of a staggered format. New students, then returning under new students, and then I don't know what the structure is exactly, but sort of a staggered return to campus and some orientation activities. We'll practice morning and afternoon most days throughout preseason, and then we get into that basic structure of 3:30 to 5:30 during the fall. Winter's kind of madness, isn't it, right now? Using the different rink space and gym space, but one thing to highlight is thinking about if you have an evening practice. Anybody have an evening practice right now? So what'd you do this afternoon from 2 to 3?
So even though I'm a day student, I had to do afternoon study. I got to do afternoon study hall. So that started at 3:20 right after class, and it went until 4:30, and that was due to the fact that our practice, since you only have one rank, our practice runs a little bit into the average study hall. So therefore, we just replaced that with the afternoon study hall right after class. So that's what I did this afternoon.
Any other questions?
How are the younger forms involved in the varsity and JV teams?
I can start. So for me, coming in as a freshman, it was a little intimidating, but I would say there's no favoritism. If you have it in you, you have the heart, you have the skill, the coaches will definitely find a way to put you on the field. So I feel like if you work hard and earn your spot, there's no way they're going to deny you a spot on the field.
I would say the same, especially at St. Mark's, like Dwayne said, it's like coming in as a little kid. It's a little bit intimidating when you're playing on a team with 18 and 19-year-olds sometimes. But from my experience, like the older kids became some of my better friends as a younger guy. And the bonds that you form with those players as well as your coaches is something special to St. Mark's. So it's not really it's not that bad to be a younger kid. It's actually super fun.
Yeah, I'd also add that there's a good sense of mentorship and there's a good sense of responsibility from the upper formers to bring in the underformers, just in terms of like social situations at St. Mark's. So it's because we're such a small school, it's a good way for everyone to sort of blend between the grades. I also think, just in my experience with running and with rowing, definitely if you work hard, you will get to where you want to be. Your age has nothing to do with it.
That's a great question. Thank you. Next question, tossing the idea of your whole life at St. Mark's so far. What's a few things that you would highlight that you love the most about your athletic experience?
My friends. I love playing 3 sports just because it gives me friends every season. So I'll see someone in the halls and we just immediately have our little connection, like, oh, like practice later, oh, like game day, you know? And also, like, it carries on throughout the year too. Like, my soccer friends right now, we're all just so sad soccer season's over still, that we're all just like, oh, like, how's, like, whatever sport you play, blah, blah, blah. And yeah, it's just a good time.
Yeah, I also think we have really good school spirit, which is really fun when it's not me, like rowing or running. It's good to go and support the other teams, especially with Groton Night this fall. We sort of talked about it a bit, but there's a lot of spirit events and a big pep rally and the burning of a papier-mâché zebra. So it's like a lot of good events that really bring the school together, even though just athletics, but it's a good thing that everyone has in common.
I'm trying to be different from Avery. I would say just athletics give me a chance to like separate from academics in a way. If I have a long day, a couple tests, not doing too well, I just look forward to athletics and being able to hang out with my friends and being able to toss around a football, or shoot a basketball, or get hit with lacrosse balls. It's just something that I look forward to at the end of the day.
I would say something nice is I don't play a sport in the fall. I do strength and conditioning. So something nice is we have a good fan base at St. Mark's. I mean, we only have 360 kids, but I feel like there's never an empty home game because those that don't play a sport in the fall, you get out of strength and then everybody decides, hey, let's go to field hockey or let's go to soccer or something like that. So you really don't ever have an empty game. It feels like a close community because your best friends are on the sidelines watching you play. So that's something fun about St. Mark's. You're never really bored because there's always a game to watch, or when you're playing a game, you always have people watching.
Any questions lingering from our group? I have some more to go. I just want to open it up to everybody. Yes. Our comfy shoes.
Just the other side of that, what's your biggest challenge of being a student athlete here?
No question.
I think for me, like I sort of touched on, was the idea of like coming to St. Mark's as a rower and having rowing be like my main sport, and sort of how to integrate rowing and getting into the ergon, getting into the lift, getting into like do specific rowing lifts. That was like a difficult balance at the beginning for me to understand how to balance those two sports at the same time, but I've definitely figured it out over the course of my time here.
I would say the biggest challenge for me would just be kind of like the challenge from being at a boarding school very far from home would be like off-season training. A lot of my friends back in New Jersey, they play on 7-on-7 teams. They get to get more exposure in many different states just because they play on like a travel football team. But it's a lot harder when you're not really close to home and you're living at boarding school. So that would be the main challenge, but it's not that big of a challenge.
I can't really think of anything.
I mean, it can just be tiring sometimes, but overall, your friends, like the people around you, help you get through it, so it's okay.
Thank you, guys. That's a great question.
What kind of support do you get, like in terms of nutrition, health and wellness, things like that, as a student athlete?
When it comes to nutrition help, I think we have an awesome training staff. I don't think they're here. They're awesome training staff. They're probably in the training room. But they help out, keeping you healthy, keeping you on the field when it's a minor injury, and making sure you're making the right decisions when it comes to, you have 3 years ahead of you, no point in risking it type of decisions. So they're really good with that type of stuff. And then also we have a great strength coach. He's pretty much always in the gym. He could drop a lift in 30 seconds if you ask him for one. And then when it comes to wellness, we have a really good wellness program at St. Mark's. We just did Wellness Day this Saturday, and one of the sessions that I attended was about anxiety in athletics, and it was super informative, and you take away a couple tips that help you get ready to play a big game and not show up shaking on the bench. So I think that's super helpful. So I think we have a really good system for athletes at St. Mark's.
Yeah, I think wellness is a big focus at our school, like mindfulness in general too. I also think that everyone has very similar experiences at our school because we're on the same schedule. So when there's a sense of people are getting tired, we'll take a moment, we'll step back, and we'll recenter ourselves with like wellness and focusing activities. But the Saturday class, the wellness day, was very good this past Saturday.
I also think with athletics, oftentimes mental health isn't really thought of as much just because it's about how well you can move your body, kind of. But there is definitely a mental part of it, and everyone's very understanding of that here.
It's become really clear to me the type of leaders that we have on stage right now and the way that they are carrying themselves and the things that are coming out of their mouths. My question was about leadership. How did you develop as a leader through athletics at St. Mark's, or before or after St. Mark's?
I would say I developed as a leader through watching the people who came before me. Coming in, just remembering senior C.J. Schumacher, who would sit and wait for me after practice and go after film with me and help me just see things that I wouldn't see as a young kid. And then coming in as a sophomore, I would start to pick up on some of his ways and help the freshmen. And it would just keep increasing every year to now I'm a senior. Now I'm a senior captain of the football team, and I know what it's like to be a CJ. And I know what freshmen are looking for as well, because I've been in those shoes as well.
I would say the same. Freshman year, I was probably one of the youngest guys on the team. And then over time, like even when it becomes sophomore, you may not be wearing a letter on your shoulder, but you still have a role in holding your teammates accountable, making sure, the guy next to you is working just as hard as you are. So you may not earn a leadership title, but you're always participating in some type of leadership on a team, whether a freshman or a senior.
Yeah, I definitely second everything that Dwayne was saying and Michael in terms of being able to name the seniors. Like I remember Kate Normandin, she was in the first boat, she was a monitor and she was a captain. I was like, I'm going to be Kate Normandin. Like that will be who I am when I'm a senior. And so sort of looking in as she mentored me and led me through cross country and through rowing, just really growing into that role, but also finding it in different ways at St. Mark's. Athletics has been a great way for me to grow into seeing like, okay, what takes like not only success in athletics, but also just like team and community in athletics. And I think that's where a key role of leadership comes from, and that I've definitely been able to grow into and just see at St. Mark's.
Thank you. Take a pause. Anyone want to throw one out? Sure.
I would say that I'm part of a lot of clubs, and sometimes, especially in the winter, the club meetings can interfere with just outside life sometimes, or even just my practice schedule. But overall, like especially in the fall and spring, it's very manageable. And also there's times within the day with club meeting blocks. So it all fits together.
Yeah, I would say that there's like the fellowship that I had mentioned and like just clubs, but it's very nice that there's a club block in the day. I think there are 2 club blocks in the week. So clubs can schedule in there. It's completely free. You can either use that to get your work done, but also if it's in everybody's schedules to be a time to engage in extracurriculars. So that's a good way that the schedules don't interfere.
Yeah, I would say I'm a part of a lot of clubs and affinity groups as well. And your club leaders and your group leaders also make it possible for you to still be engaged in both athletics and your clubs as well by setting up different meeting times. It's a lot harder in the winter because there are practices at all different times, but they can make it work for you.
Like Dwayne said, it's harder in the winter because, you know, you got more of a tight practice schedule, but it's also because not easier during the winter in general, but easier in general at St. Mark's because everybody's playing a sport. Whether, you know, you're on a third team or a varsity team, you practice once a day. So everybody's on the same page as to what it means. Like, I have practice, I have to miss this. Everybody understands what that means. So it's not like you're going to get, you know, kicked out of a club because you have an athletic practice, because everybody has that same situation to deal with.
Additionally, the vast majority of the art, music, what am I trying to say? What is asked of you in arts and music is through the academic day, so during your class day. There are some practices outside of that, but you know, I know we had some members of the choir on the football team. You let them out early, get to your practice. You can do both, definitely, for sure. Can you all talk about sort of is going? Who your resources were when you want to look at different schools and that sort of thing?
Who you build your relationships with, but for me it was my coach. I know him pretty well, and he also has some connections with schools. So we just had a one-on-one conversation and said, like, where do you think you want to go? And then play your best, and I'll see what, you know, who I can talk to see if they want to come watch you play. So that ended up working out for me, but I know it's different for everybody, whether it's a coach or someone else.
Where are you headed, Michael?
I'm going to Princeton in 2023.
I would say the same thing for the most part. You control your recruiting process with colleges, but me personally, I received a lot of help from my head coach, Coach Fig, and I'm also considering doing a post-grad year, and my guy, Coach Dub, back there, he's been helping me out doing the research because that's something that he's experienced as well. So as long as you create a good bond with your coaches, they'll definitely be there to use their connections to help you out as well.
Actually had been really helpful, both the teammates that are on my team now and also the teammates that had graduated and were going to colleges that I was looking at were very supportive, and beyond that, my teachers were very supportive in terms of, okay, let's say that I'm talking to these schools, but where would also be a fit academically for me? So I talked to a lot of teachers that helped me narrow down that decision for me. I'm going to Columbia for rowing.
I'm a junior, so I don't have a lot to talk about here, but I would just say that I know I have my resources if I would like to use them, and that there are always people to talk to.
Now, from a varsity head coach's perspective, only because I'm the only one with a mic, there are many of them in the room that are going to come up here in a second. But our college counseling team does a wonderful job of collaborating with coaches. This is just a wonderful experience for me. Fairly new to St. Mark's, and I'll bump into a college counselor in the hallway and have a chat about a student and give them updates and that sort of thing. It's really, really helpful, and it's a great partnership. So I'm really happy about that. Last questions from our group, and then I'm going to introduce themselves. Okay. A huge thank you to our student panel. I really appreciate it. Thank you, guys. Coaches, come on down and introduce yourself. We're going to do a quick hello so you can put a face to the name, and then we're going to dismiss outside to either TAF, which is to the left, for some of our girls' sports, and the middle lobby, and upstairs for our boys' sports in the balcony, and also in the lobby. So a little bit of mix in the lobby, and most of our male sports upstairs, most of our female sports to the left in Taft.
Great. I have the mic, so I'll start. This is my first year at St. Mark's, and I'm excited to be starting as the head lacrosse coach.
My name is John Keneally. I'm the cross-country coaches. I teach chemistry at St. Mark's also, and I'm the house head of Co-House, which is an upper boys dorm. And this is my second year at St. Mark's. I'm also representing the basketball program here. I'm an assistant coach for varsity basketball. The head coach is still in practice. It's just finishing up right now. So if you'd like to talk about cross-country or basketball, I'd love to chat with you.
Hi, my name's Rob Calagione. I'm the baseball coach here at St. Mark's. I'm also an alum. I graduated in 2004. I coach cross-country as well. I teach in the history department. And I've been the head coach for about 9 years.
I'm David Lyons. I'm the golf coach. I also coach cross-country, so there's 3 of us here. And I teach history as well. And I've been here 28 years.
I'm Karen Bryant. I teach math, and I'm the girls cross-country coach, and I've also been here 27 years.
I'm Shelley Killeen. This is my 7th year. I teach history. I'm the head girls squash coach. I also work with boys squash, and I help with boys varsity tennis. The head coach is a little farther down.
I'm Channing Weymouth. This is my 9th year at St. Mark's. I coach girls lacrosse and work in admissions with Miss Banky and everybody else here. And I oversee the 9th grade boys dorm.
Hi everyone, I'm Casey Bates. I am the girls varsity hockey and the varsity softball coach. I also teach in the English department and the experiential learning department.
Hi again, I'm Miss Banky, Director of Admission and also the varsity girls tennis coach, and I've been here for 18 years, and this is my 15th year to coach.
My name's Bob Hom. I'm the head varsity tennis coach. I've been here at St. Mark's for 6 years.
Hello, my name's Carl Corzini. I'm the head boys varsity ice hockey coach. I'm the assistant baseball coach, assistant varsity soccer, boys varsity soccer coach, teaching the history and social science department. I'm the director of wellness. This has been my 8th year at St. Mark's. I really look forward to talking to you, all those interested in boys varsity ice hockey, but I also welcome you to come watch us practice because we're practicing now.
Hello, Colleen Finnerty. I am the head coach of the varsity field hockey team, also assistant coach of varsity softball and varsity ice hockey. I am in my 5th year at St. Mark's. I teach in the history and social sciences department, dorm head of a girls' dorm in the main building, and I am an alum of St. Mark's as well, graduated in 2011.
I'm Eric Anderson. I'm the boys varsity soccer coach. This is my 3rd year at St. Mark's, and I just want to thank all of you for coming out tonight. I look forward to meeting many of you outside tonight.
You all met me already. Lauren Ames, Associate Director of Athletics, head varsity girls soccer coach. Thanks.
I'm not walking through.
I think we're all good. All of our prospective female athletes, just as I said before, go ahead and dismiss first, just so that we don't have a big log jam. Look for your coaches with high top tables with the sport that you play in Taft and in the main lobby, and then we'll dismiss boys next. Girls first. That's how we do things in my house. Thank you all. And boys, go ahead, do it. See you soon.
Thank you.